Hello, tennis fans, and welcome to a story that is rapidly becoming one of the most fascinating narratives in modern women's tennis. A story not only about results and rankings, but about energy, influence, and a level of popularity so extraordinary that it has drawn comparisons to one of the biggest music icons on the planet. Yes, we're talking about Alex Eala, and yes, the comparison being made is to Taylor Swift. It may sound dramatic at first, but when you examine the scenes unfolding at tournaments around the world, the analogy begins to make sense. At just 20 years old, Eala has yet to capture a WTA Tour title. She currently sits at world number 31, a highly respectable ranking, but not yet in the elite top tier that traditionally defines global superstardom in tennis. And yet, if you walk into a stadium where she is scheduled to play, you might assume you are witnessing a Grand Slam final. Her star power has been steadily building since her unforgettable run to the semifinals of the Miami Open last March, a breakthrough that changed everything. Before Miami, she was regarded as a promising young talent with impressive junior credentials and a solid developmental foundation. After Miami, she became a phenomenon. That tournament served as the catalyst. With each match she won, the crowd grew larger. With each upset she delivered, the buzz intensified. Fans began arriving hours early just to secure seats. Practice sessions became mini-events. The tennis world realized that something special was unfolding. Much of that momentum stems from the unwavering support she received from her homeland. The Philippines has embraced Eala not simply as a talented athlete, but as a symbol of national pride. Tennis has never had a figure from the country who reached such heights on the global stage. Now they do, and they show up. During tournaments in Australia earlier this season, spectators filled not only the match courts, but also the practice areas. Flags waved proudly. Chants echoed through the grounds. Social media feeds were flooded with clips of packed stands and electric reactions. It was in this context that respected Sky Sports tennis presenter Gigi Salmon offered her striking assessment during a Sky Sports tennis event in London. In terms of her appeal and the crowds that follow her, Salmon remarked, "She might already be the biggest star." That is an extraordinary statement when you consider the names currently dominating women's tennis. Yet Salmon's observation wasn't based on trophies. It was based on atmosphere. She recalled how even fellow competitors have acknowledged the phenomenon. Coco Gauff recently joked after one of her matches that she was sorry for delaying a contest featuring Eala and promised the crowd she would finish soon. It echoed sentiments once expressed by players sharing courts with Roger Federer, acknowledging that fans had primarily come to see someone else. That kind of dynamic is rare. Salmon vividly remembered Eala's Miami run, where she conducted interviews with her during the tournament. The atmosphere, she said, was phenomenal. The noise levels were extraordinary. Each round felt bigger than the last. And then came the Middle East swing. In Dubai, Salmon described the environment as resembling a pop concert. The energy inside the stadium, she said, felt as though Taylor Swift herself were performing. Fans screamed. Cameras flashed. The anticipation before each point carried an intensity usually reserved for championship matches. Of course, such fervor can be a double-edged sword. With soaring popularity comes rising expectation. Every performance is scrutinized. Every loss is amplified. Salmon acknowledged that the weight of such attention could eventually become a burden. Yet at this stage of her career, Eala appears to be thriving. She thanked them all, Salmon noted. She's a superstar. I just think she's got everything. That everything includes more than charisma. On the court, Eala possesses a left-handed game that naturally creates sharp angles and disrupts opponents' rhythm. She hits with depth and conviction. Her movement has improved markedly over the past year. Her defensive skills are evolving alongside a growing willingness to attack when opportunities arise. At 20 years old, time is firmly on her side. Physically, she is still evolving. Mentally, she is gaining experience with each deep run. Salmon expressed excitement about what 2026 could bring, believing that his ceiling remains far from reached. Still, questions remain. In Dubai, Eala was comprehensively beaten by Coco Gauff, a reminder that while her popularity may rival the biggest names, Her competitive consistency against elite champions is still developing. That gap between star power and sustained dominance is the next frontier. The tennis world has seen this narrative before. Meteoric breakthroughs can catapult players into the spotlight overnight. Some sustain it. Others struggle beneath its glare. Eala, however, appears grounded. In an exclusive interview last year, she reflected on the aftermath of her Miami run, a tournament that altered her public profile almost instantly. Media attention intensified. Sponsorship opportunities multiplied. Comparisons began emerging to the rise of Emma Raducanu after her 2021 US Open triumph. Yet Eala insisted her daily routine had not changed. "I think I have done a good job and my team have done a good job of dealing with everything that happened after Miami," she said. Her perspective shifted. Yes, but her habits did not. The same work ethic, the same attention to detail, the same incremental focus on improvement. What stands out most about her reflection on Miami is how she approached it mentally. She avoided looking at the draw. She resisted the temptation to think too far ahead. She went match by match, obstacle by obstacle. Each round presented a new challenge. Each victory demanded recalibration. By the time she reached the latter stages, the magnitude of the moment had grown, but her process remained constant. That discipline may ultimately determine whether her popularity translates into sustained greatness. She acknowledged that Miami gave her confidence, proof that her level belongs among the top players. But she was equally clear that consistency is the true benchmark. "There's a lot more for me to do before I can be there consistently," she admitted. That humility is reinforced by her family's influence. Eala frequently credits her family as the foundation of her journey. They built the structure around her career. They created the pathway she walked from childhood into professional sport. "For me, family is such a crucial part of who I am," she explained. Coming from a deeply family-oriented culture, she views their presence not merely as support, but as grounding. And grounding is essential when stadiums begin to resemble pop concerts. Now, as she prepares for another milestone, her main draw debut at Wimbledon Championships, the spotlight intensifies once more. Grass courts present a unique challenge. The Philippines has few grass facilities. She joked that her early experiences on the surface were limited to casually hitting balls in a backyard. Yet that sense of novelty excites her. Grass rewards quick adaptation, sharp reflexes, and fearless shot selection, qualities she continues to refine. As she steps onto those iconic lawns, she carries more than a racket. She carries expectation. She carries hope. She carries the roar of fans who see in her something larger than statistics. Is she already the biggest star in women's tennis? The debate continues. In terms of titles, players like Aryna Sabalenka remain ahead. In commercial partnerships, Gauff's global presence is immense. But when it comes to the immediacy of crowd reaction, the volume, the anticipation, the atmosphere, the argument in Eala's favor grows stronger by the month. She has become a symbol of emerging markets in tennis, of Filipino pride, of youthful possibility. And perhaps that is why the Taylor Swift comparison resonates. It's not about identical fame. It's about energy, about the sense that when she appears, something special might unfold. At just 20 years old, Alexandra Eala stands at the intersection of promise and phenomenon. Her ranking will likely rise. Her game will mature. Her physical presence will strengthen. But already, she has achieved something rare in sport. She has become must-see. And whether she is lifting trophies or still chasing them, one truth feels undeniable. Alex Eala is no longer simply part of the WTA Tour. She is an experience. And if this trajectory continues, the comparison to global icons may one day feel less like hyperbole and more like inevitability.